Whoa. Probably should play music. What is up, everybody? see how I turned a speech impediment into almost a song, Keith? Pro as fuck, bro.
Pretty sure the Who did that a long time ago.
Fucking thieves. Those time-traveling thieves. What's up, everybody? I'm Ray.
I'm Keith.
Keith, you're tuned into the Inspired Sword podcast. Woo-wee.
Congratulations, you.
Congratulations to the ear holes that have been blessed with the opportunity to be bathed in silky smooth, sensual voices that Keith and I bring to this absurdly ridiculous show.
Like a bukkake of sensuality all over your ear holes.
Just dripping. Probably the only time doctors would approve you to use a Q-tip to clean out the bukkake of goodness, because sometimes it gets clogged up.
I believe they would tell you to actually jam a bunch in your ear holes before the bukkake.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. They're probably like prevention more. No, they're not. They don't prevent shit.
They're like, I will mold an earpiece for you. It'll only cost you $150.
Yeah, right. If they had to mold a fucking earpiece, it's probably like 10 grand or 5 grand.
Fucking way, dude.
Yeah, to mold an ear, fuck, a custom earpiece? Are you kidding me?
It's not that expensive.
For sure, for sure.
I've had my dentist make custom mouth guards for hockey and shit, and it's fucking $20.
Yeah, but that's slightly different. Like, I don't know, ears and teeth.
They had to make a mold of my teeth to do it.
Yeah, but it's like you just bite down on something. Your ears can't bite, Keith. I know.
Man, have you ever had to make the impressions with that tray?
What do you mean the impressions with the tray?
So they can make a cast to your teeth and shit?
No, I've never had to do that.
Holy shit. It's like a giant metal mouthpiece.
Uh-huh.
And they like put this pink shit in it.
Okay.
And then they jam it pretty much down your throat. And then they smash it up into your teeth.
Uh-huh.
As to make the impression, but all that excess shit squirts like down the back of your throat.
Nice.
So you've already got this gargantuan metal mouthpiece in your mouth, and then you got to sit there and not choke to death until it sets. And then when they pull it back off, it feels like they're pulling all your teeth out at once.
That sucks. I've only been to the dentist a few times in my life. So that's how I avoid
email the mommies.
Yeah. That is one thing. Every time they have a dental update, I'm like, well, I mean, I guess it would be when the day comes, if I get insurance again, or if something doesn't happen, knock on fucking, there's no wood. There's like no wood in this hired. God damn it. Paper. Knock on paper. That's the closest thing I got to wood. Then I'll send them an email, you know? Maybe we'll get some love on your mom's house if they're still doing the podcast. It's just going to turn into a TV show.
It's going to be love.
Oh, it'll be love. I'll take it as love. I mean, just the fact that they would read it on their show.
It will be a public shaming.
Yeah, well, that's totally fine. I mean, I've grown up publicly shamed. That's like par for the course. When you wake up looking like this, Keith, you know.
Did you hear their podcast with Gloria Estefan called in? That shit was hilarious.
And her husband. Yeah, that was awesome, man. They seem like super fucking nice, too.
Yeah,
you know?
They're like billionaires.
Like they already knew him. Yeah. Well, I guess if you're a billionaire and you're an asshole, because you really don't need to care about shit. Like, I can understand a millionaire being an asshole. That's just typical for a millionaire. You know?
How are you even upset as a billionaire?
Fuck, man. Dude, I would be happy. you know, I'm good right now. But
I'm
you
poor
know,
as shit, and I'm pretty happy. But
I know.
I
could
couldn't
get,
imagine if someone just gave me $1 billion and been like, "All right, this is just your $1 billion. You don't have to run a company or anything.
yeah.
You're just worth $1
Just
billion.
sit on it. Yeah, what's your
You
butt
can
doing?
do whatever you want with it."
Yeah. Fucking amazing.
I would just walk around with a giant smile on my face, handing out $100 bills to people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Can you imagine how much that would brighten up people's day?
Until, you know, maybe somebody
someone's
hears.
gonna try to
yeah,
rob
they're
me,
like,
but obviously
hey,
I'll have security with me.
there's that jolly fucker handing out $100. I bet he's got a whole. That's what the briefcase is for. He's
I
not
can
doing
afford
business.
pretty good security.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, and you know, we have a slight connection to ex MMA fighters. So, you know, we could talk to people that can talk to people that could potentially. I bet we could easily set up an ex MMA fighter bodyguard for you. So easily. Maybe not a famous one, but you know.
Would you rather have like an ex heavyweight with you, or like three like
three like
lightweights?
featherweights?
Like 155ers, like 355ers, or like one 260-pound dude?
Shit. I don't like hanging out with a lot of people at the same time always, so probably the big dude just because it's less people, but
Think
if
just
I
his
didn't have
bigness
to,
would scare people away as opposed to the three little guys being deceptive?
I would you know what, if hanging out aside, that criteria not counting, the three as small as possible. Female too? Fucking that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Gaddafi used to roll around with a bunch of female bodyguards and
Fuck
shit.
yeah. Dude, 100%. They'd probably cost way more.
You know, we're all talking about ex-MMA guys. I guess if I really wanted a bodyguard, I think I'd be going for like more ex-Navy SEAL guy. Even though MMA guy might be able to beat him up hand to hand. But most of the people that would be trying to rob you would probably have a gun.
For sure, for sure.
And
but
I'd rather have the gun guy than what's the fist guy gonna do when he gets shot? Like,
well, maybe find like a Matt Hughes kind of guy, like an MMA guy that also loves guns.
Matt Brown.
Yeah, Matt Brown. There you go. Direct, you know, just in case, Matt Brown, if you're listening,
Well, I mean, he's got to retire sometime.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if you want an easy gig, first off, we haven't figured out this whole how we're getting the $1 billion to pay you yet. But
no, it'll happen.
Yeah, I have this dream board. I watched The Secret recently, and I have a dream board now, and it just has tiny little dollars, 1 billion of them, all over it. That's all it is. So it's gonna happen because I believe it. So assuming that's gonna happen, Matt Brown, and you know maybe you're not happy with this Reebok deal. I don't know what times are like for you right now. I know you just got a brand new patio. It looks amazing. But
I listened to his podcast. He talked a little bit about it. He said, you know, it is what it is. He didn't seem for or against, but he was like, but you know, if this is my deal and shit, he's like, send me some shit to wear. I want to wear. True. I'll wear Reebok all the time, but I ain't got. No one's sending me anything, and it's like, dude's like top 5 in his weight class, and yeah. I mean, granted, he's not an exclusive.
Not yet.
Sponsor.
We're gonna get Matt Brown back on the show, and we're gonna give him the boost he needs to get back in belt contention. Okay, we did a pretty good job considering that was a while ago when we talked to him. It's been like 2 years. I don't know. It seems like
last 2 fights were against the champ or the
current and former.
Current and former.
Yep.
So I mean, granted he did lose them. But here's the thing. He went 5 rounds with those dudes.
Yeah. And every time you hear anybody discuss those fights, it's like, you know, it's not like they give Matt Brown tons of respect. They're like, well, at least in the last fight, like it was fucking Hendricks. Like, you know, they were talking about, I don't remember where it was. They were talking about that, you know, if he didn't have that wrestling pedigree and was able to fucking be boring as fuck in that fight, then it could have easily gone a completely different direction. It would have been more Matt Brown's fight.
I mean, he even talked about it. He's like, I just need to get better at wrestling then.
For sure, yeah. Like, but it's like, that's hard. It's hard to get to that level of wrestling, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that's what it takes. You know, he went in with a disadvantage of not having that wrestling background and not even starting to train till he was,
Yeah.
you know, after his drug problem.
Yeah.
That's usually not a good springboard to start your career. All these other guys, like, I was a national wrestling champ. It's like, I used to do heroin.
I died once. I died for a little bit. I tried dying out for a while, but I was like, nah.
And then, so I decided I'd just fight people.
Yeah.
And here I am, one of the top 5 in the world in my weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got
if
that.
you have financial issues, Matt Brown, what we're saying to you is that we have a gig, and it's sweet. It's a sweet gig, assuming you're not annoyed by Keith the Billionaire. If he turns into an asshole.
Yeah, but even if you get annoyed, I just give you more money.
That's true.
Like, hey,
or
he
he could just.
I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, dude, and then I just hand him another $1,000. I'm like,
I mean, that's a guy you don't want to quit, because he can go out. You know, he can quit pretty epically if he wanted to.
But here's the thing: does the $1 billion turn you into an asshole just because you can pay your way out of everything you say?
I don't.
Do you insult the people before you give them the $100?
You know what? I would probably accidentally insult somebody, like unknowingly, you know, belittle them in some.
Here, get your teeth fixed.
Yeah, it's like, there's so many peasants out today. It's wonderful. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Like you need some new shoes, fella.
Yeah.
What the fuck's wrong with my shoes?
I had a girlfriend that turned me into an asshole for a while, and I did not like myself at all. I thought I had permanently turned into an asshole, so didn't. Thankfully. But I was seriously not
turned me into an asshole for a while.
Yeah. Well,
I don't it was weird, man. I don't know if it was just more testosterone in my body or what. But the bigger I got, the more my ego got boosted up because you look good, you feel good, and then you're like, yeah, but I'm strong as shit too.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, you're like, I just fuck everyone up, even though I don't know how to fucking fight.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So, skinny me now, if I knew how to fight, would have beat the fuck up a bulked up me.
You now? Are you sure? Because you're always talking about how...
If I was trained to fight, I'm saying my body size now, and compared to 20 more pounds of muscle.
And not in, like, pain.
Shit out of myself.
And not in, like, no arthritis issues or pains.
Oh, I had...
aches and pains.
I had that shit back then. Not quite as bad because it was a little bit before the wreck, but I've always had, like, I had broken both my knees at different points.
Ugh. Fuck that nonsense, bro.
Yeah, it's not fun. Leg immobilizer will fuck your leg up.
Leg immobilizer?
It's like when you see someone with, it's like a black strappy thing that goes all the way up the leg when you see people on crutches and shit and their legs locked straight.
Almost like a cast, but a brace more than anything.
It's just a brace, but it's for your whole leg.
Yeah.
And so when I broke my kneecap, I got my first one, and they lock your leg like that for, what is it, 2 months? And then after like 2 months, there's little dials on the side, like open the hinge up. So they'll be like, all right, we're going to put you on 30%. So then I could bend my knee 30%. Yeah. And even after it was locked straight so long, your tendons tighten up so much.
Yeah.
That you can't even bend it.
Yeah.
Like, so that 30% was like, I couldn't even take it to the full 30%.
Yeah.
The rehab on a knee sucks. Like, I could never imagine, like, a shoulder or a hip, that ball and socket joint where it goes, knee. Yeah. You got this.
It's
one direction.
Yeah. Just wow, you're a big fan. I could tell. You did the dance too. Yeah. See, there you go.
This is my jerking off dick stance.
Just in case one's taller.
It's fancy. It's like one in front, one to the side, and kind of taller. So
it's 2015, bro. You got to mix it up. You can't just be doing the ski poles all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit's weak.
Yeah, weak as fuck.
Like my leg, when they finally fucking took that thing off, it shriveled up like like when you still have and your other leg's been getting way more exercise because, you're using crutches, but you're using that leg for everything, standing up, sitting down. So your one leg's actually bulked up a little bit. And your other leg now looks like an infant's leg.
Yeah, that's when I broke my arm or my hand.
Yeah, I mean, it happens
My
with your arm too. Your
my
wrist will
because
do
I
it.
couldn't move it. But then after that, they gave me a fucking brace that I was supposed to wear. But that thing hurt, man. Like it would be locked in place, and then you take it off.
It kind of pushes your palm back. Those are the worst.
Yeah, and like I couldn't. It hurt so bad. Like I just like fuck it. I'll just not use it that much or whatever. But it was just a pain, and I never went to like any. I don't think they have. Maybe they do. I never went to like a rehab thing or anything.
I did physical therapy for a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Like
I'm probably
like I said, I broke both knees. And then I had like tendonitis and bursitis in my shoulders and elbows. And then when my hand, like I broke my finger, I had rehab for that. I broke my hand. I didn't break my hand, but I tore all the ligaments out of my thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to do rehab for that because the cast they had me in had my thumb. Like most hand casts, the thumb
is out.
Sticks out by itself.
Yeah.
Well, this cast, my thumb was folded into my hand, and the cast is just like a straight down with no thumb hole.
I'd be so claustrophobic. I'd go insane.
And there was a pin in my hand that almost like stuck out of the cast. Oh my God, I don't know how many times I hit that pin.
Oh.
And the day after my surgery, this is the best. The day after my surgery, I'm so right-handed. Like, I had my hand in the cast, and like I went to open the front door, and for some reason I just reached with that hand and like locked on and pulled, and just the pull on everything, I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
And you know how they take that pin out?
No, with it, they tie it to a doorknob with some.
Might as well.
They just
might as well
slam it, Brick. Yeah, yeah. Who's Brick? Brick works in the hospital, by the way. When they do that,
pliers.
So that's the other way you take a tooth out.
Just take and do they numb it?
Nah, fuck that.
They just take pliers and they grab a hold of it and they pull it out. And it's like, here's the thing though, I had like a small infection from mine.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you can wash down in there. It's just like
and it's every time you fucking nudged it, it just kind of opens it up again, makes it fresh. And
so when they pulled it out, it's like having a piercing that I don't know if you've ever got piercings, but like I just don't deal well with metal in my body.
It's just allergic.
So like
some people are allergic.
Yeah, just tried to reject and swell up. Yeah. So like it'd be infected. And when you take it out, it's the best feeling on earth. So when he pulled that out, even though it felt weird, like once it came out of my hand, it was like like an orgasm. Like it just came out of my hand hole.
Good thing they added a hole there.
Oh, get it out of me. Thank you.
Nap time. Fucking injuries suck, man. Just, I don't know. It's the only time I broke my leg when I was a kid playing on those, those dome spider web things, the metal ones. Yeah. Playing tag on one of those, and my leg got kicked out. And
Thunderdome.
Yeah. Fucking, so I got a hairline fracture on that, but I didn't get a cast for it. So I was just on crutches for a while. And I fucked my feet up, my ankles a bunch of times, but nothing too serious.
I never really got hurt much as a kid.
Yeah.
And that's when I was playing sports and doing the most dangerous shit ever.
Yeah.
And there was like, once I became an adult, my body just became frail and fragile.
Yeah.
But then, after all this, like all this shit happened before my wreck. Mm-hmm. So all that happened, and then I survived a wreck where I flew like fucking 40 feet out of the vehicle.
Your body's so used to just getting fucking broken everywhere that it's like, fuck, it's like, again, Keith? Come on. Like, this is a bad one too, bro.
You know what's weird? Today at work, guy walked in. I said, who are you here for? And he was, I don't know, he just kind of was like looking at me weird. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and he was like, do you know who I am? I was like, no. He's like, oh, I'm Keith Walter. And right then I was like, oh shit, it was the guy who found me in the road called 911 and saved my life.
Wow. That's
And
insane.
I mean, his wife comes to the salon I work at and gets her hair done, so I see her all the time, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
And he just randomly came in, and I was there, and then we talked about it and shit. So, man, I guess I was a little more fucked up than I originally thought I was.
Well, at least you didn't remember it, you know?
And
some of it, anyway.
One thing that fucking struck me, like he was talking about, because he thought I was his son.
Really? Like
him and son are about the same build.
Uh-huh.
We drove similar vehicles, little S10.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked at a restaurant where they had to wear like dress pants and a button-up white shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the same type of haircut. And so
all white people look the same.
So this wreck happened at 2:40. It woke him up out of his sleep. He runs outside, thinks it's his son. My face is he said it was so covered in blood he couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So he's insane. Calling me his son's name while he's trying to, like, he's feeling my arms and legs to see, you know, try to see what was all fucked up. And then he was like, he said he couldn't hear me breathing. My jaw was clenched shut. And so he opened up my jaw.
Uh-huh.
And he said, when I did, he goes, just all this blood poured out. And then, so I was totally non-responsive, and he pulled my wallet. And here's the fucked up part: like he still thinks I'm his son.
Yeah.
Pulls my wallet. The first thing that he pulls out is like a debit card or something, like a gas card or something with my name on it.
Yeah.
He had given his son his card.
So he saw Keith, and he
saw Keith on the card, and so. You know, he's still freaking out.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and then when the cop got there, and I know this cop, he's fucking, like, I've never had a problem with his kid, but this really pissed me off. Like, and he goes, I've been, you know, he goes, I didn't want to move you. I didn't, you know, in case your neck was broken or something. And he goes, when the cop got there, he goes, he treated you like you were a fucking deer that he had just shot. He grabbed you by your arm and just fucking flopped you over onto your back. And he goes, you know, when he got there, like the guy was still almost in shock because he thought his son.
Yeah.
You know, by this time he figured out I wasn't his son.
Okay.
But he's still in shock from the whole event.
Yeah.
Like,
he's still
sitting there with me.
Yeah.
The cop got there before the ambulance or anything. So he goes, is he dead?
Jesus.
Like, I hope I see this kid again so I can be like, hey, man, I know that I don't remember this. And like, you're doing your job. But if you ever treat another fucking wreck victim like that again, like it's fucking murder. Like, you flopped me over. My neck could have been broken. I flew out of a vehicle.
Or you could have been paralyzed if you did have, you know, broken neck. There's a lot of bad things.
And he could have severed my fucking spinal cord.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like fucking.
But whatever. Like, that was just the irritating part, just because I knew that kid.
That's ridiculous.
Like, really,
where'd you know him from? Just.
My village.
Yeah,
like, it's a village.
That's true. That's true.
He was in my oldest sister's class.
Jesus. Yeah, fuck that shit, man.
Well, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Fuck that guy for sure.
Like, you know, I hope you're a good cop in every other respect, but don't fucking.
I mean, probably fucking not. I mean, that's. Sometimes people get better over age, but when you're like that, like nonchalant about a crash victim, you know,
like the way the guy described it, though, like you could tell he was shaken up by it
for sure.
It's almost been 4 years. Like he was like, it pissed me. He goes, he pissed me off so much the way he treated you, and I was like, and I was unconscious still.
Yeah.
And then I guess I woke up like right after that, and then. But, you know, I don't remember any of that shit. But it was just weird, like, kind of get more of a glimpse. He told me how far out of the vehicle I flew out. He told me, like, I always thought that probably the door came open and that's how I came out.
Uh-huh.
He's like, no, bro. He's like, your doors were still shut. He's like, you went out a side window or the back window.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
Did your car roll?
Oh, yeah. It rolled like 4 times.
Yeah, so probably a side window. That's usually, I don't know. My vast experience on YouTube
But
seeing
I'm
car
saying,
wrecks.
like, just for all that to happen, I didn't break one bone.
No shit. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Didn't
people
knock out my
survive.
already fake teeth.
Yeah, people survive like fucking skydiving and their parachute doesn't open. Like there's weird shit. There's weird shit that happens.
Pregnant and shit.
And a lot of the things I hear, like especially like drunk drivers, like because they're intoxicated state, they
I don't like that excuse. I mean, I
understand it, but
maybe an
that's
excuse.
I don't
but
think it's an
like-
excuse. I think it's partially an explanation for why you are more likely to not get as fucked up as you could have.
I've had people tell me, they're like, it's a good thing you were drunk.
Yeah.
That way you survived that accident. And
I mean-
and my rebuttal is always dick face. If
Yeah.
I wasn't drunk,
Yeah, that would have
I
prevented
would
it.
drove 70 miles an hour into a fucking telephone pole.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd frame it like it's a good thing. It's like it's fortunate that because of your intoxication, that may have helped contribute to you not, being. I mean, it may not have killed you. Maybe you still would have survived it, but maybe it would have been a worse thing. Could have been. Who knows?
It was weird after rehashing all this, though.
No
like,
shit.
I've
That was
been,
today?
panic. Yeah, that was today.
Jesus
I've been
Christ.
panic attacky all day.
Hey,
Like,
it's going around, bro. It's
Shit.
contagious.
Like,
I think
I'm like,
I think our cycles have synced up, Keith. I think something
Oh
weird's
man,
happened.
but just reliving that part and then like telling him what happened after, like at the hospital, they gave me no pain meds at the hospital because I was drunk when I went in. So I literally took an ejection accident to the chin, pretty much, and
Yeah.
fucking had to get my face scrubbed out and all this just by. They're like, well, you're drunk, so you're sedated enough.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember it? Do you remember them cleaning you
I
and everything?
remember a little bit of the guy scrubbing my face.
Yeah.
Because like I had
I'd imagine
my
you
family
still-
laughing because I was
It's great.
in such pain and so fucked up. But this guy's. So I'm like, if this motherfucker touches my face one more time, he's gonna need a hospital bed right beside me. I'm like, you better. And so my sister's boyfriend at the time's like in the back, like, and the guy is like, my parents are like, just calm down, just calm down. I'm like, you calm down. This guy's scrubbing gravel out of my face right now, and it really hurts.
Yeah,
But then I
it-
started crying again, like a little baby.
I mean, come on. like a little baby. Your face was not attached correctly, okay?
Not much of it.
I tear up watching the trailers before Mad Max. Okay, you want to talk about baby, all right? During Mad Max, I'm not crying, I'm not sobbing, but the older I get,
You know what literally went through my head, and this is the vainest thing I can say, but like right then, like I had lost my job of 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
My fiance and I had just broke up.
Jesus, you were
And-
engaged.
Yeah, and so that all happened in like a month, and then like a month later, this wreck happened.
Yeah,
And so I wake up to find that half my face is ripped off, and all I could think was, that's all I had. I don't fucking have a job. I don't have a girlfriend. All I had was my looks. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm a fucking supermodel, but like, God damn it, I think I look all right. And in my head, I'm like, fuck. Yeah. Nobody wants a guy with half a face. I saw that Mel Gibson movie.
but
That dude was alone as fuck.
Wasn't that part of the movie? Wasn't there a love interest in that, or no? I don't remember that.
I remember he had half a face. That's all I know. And there was a little kid.
Yeah, it just seems like every movie has like some love interest generally. But yeah, well, you turned out okay, Keith. You're still as beautiful as you were before. I don't see any difference. You look pretty much, except for a little kind of redecoration over the one eye.
I have a nice little scar, but
although I've only seen you in fucking low resolution
digital form.
Yeah, I've never gotten the HD version. So
the best part was like we kept talking, and he was like, "So what are you doing? Are you still doing comedy?" I'm like, "Well, I haven't been going up a whole lot, but I plan on getting right back into it once I move." And he said, where you moving? I said, Colorado. And he said, that's great. You know, this and that. They're kind of religious. And he was like, well, when you get there, don't get all hooked up on that medical marijuana shit.
Yeah.
And ruin your life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I go, man, you said it. It's medical.
Yeah, no, it's recreational. You don't even need medical reasons.
I was debating medical. I didn't want to go into that.
It's like, first off, buddy, you don't even. Yeah,
it's legal recreationally.
Yeah. You don't need to have anything wrong with you. Yeah,
but I was like, it's medical, man. We just talked about how much arthritis and shit I have now from that wreck. I go, what? You want me to pill up? I go, come on now. And he goes, oh, Jesus. And like.
He thinks Jesus is standing next to him. That's so crazy.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. And Jesus is like, yeah.
Hello.
He's going to get good shit. Yeah, he's going to get good shit in Denver. Great weed there, man. Charlotte's Web. I actually saw, where did I see Charlotte's Web something. It was like a cream or something like that. Some kind of dispensary product. And I'd never seen Charlotte's Web because that's the non-psychoactive one that they give kids.
Like the CBD weed?
Yeah. Which I'd be curious to try it, to waste. I mean, I guess I could just get a gram or something like that. Just to see. Like, really? They took everything out of it? Like, it doesn't do shit to you?
Yeah, but here's the flip side of that. Like, just being curious sometimes. Like, I've heard all this shit about that fake weed spice, and every time I go, oh, that's gross, and I'll never try that.
Yeah, no way. No, that's
so
different.
If you tell me you took all the good out of weed, and except for like it'll help you with seizures and shit, I'm like, I don't have seizures. Give me the shit that fucks me up.
Yeah, well, for sure. But I'd be curious to know, like, you know, if you can feel the pain difference. Yeah, you're just like, oh, you're just like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, you're just clear-headed. You're just, I'll probably, guaranteed I'm going to try it at some point in Colorado. It's just going to be, I mean, it's like a gram is like, it's not, or get something in it, you know? I mean, you can get.
We can start up a secondary short podcast and review fucking different strains and edibles.
Yeah. We just got to find a.
Shop that around to a dispensary or something, and maybe we can just be exclusive to them.
That's exactly, sponsorships for sure. For sure. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, we could, test guinea pig us. We'll give.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, totally. I've seen there's dispensaries out here that tried to do the podcast thing, but they're like every other person that's tried to do a podcast.
We have a Zoom
they didn't even do that. Yeah, it was just video. And it's like they did 5 episodes and then it was done. They didn't stick with it. They're like, oh, we could just do this thing and it'll work out.
Why don't I have 1 million followers after 5 episodes?
And it's like you just got to keep going. Like, I don't have 1 million followers after almost 200 episodes.
200?
We've had
for you.
Yeah, well,
how's the Loudest Geeks in the Room podcast?
It was awesome, man. It was good. It was the weird part, which I talked to you about, because we did it over Skype, and I'm so used to our setup where I actually see you and see our guests. They don't have, or just they're not set up for those kinds of shows. But I didn't have any video. So it's 3 guys, three guys
going blind.
3 guys on their side. So it's like
we've done it before though.
I listen, man. And there was a little bit of an echo sometimes. I'm a pro, bro. I'm a pro. I handled it pretty good. Like, here's the thing: when I started talking, it's just like, just keep talking, like, because I don't know. It sounds like I'm talking over people constantly because of that slight echo, but it's just like, you just gotta go. Like, I'm a guest on the show. And if they're talking over me, fine, but I'm just going to keep going. But it's like knowing when to talk, and then but it was fun. We talked about transhumanism, and it was kind of like all over the place with different, because it's just such a dense topic. It was only an hour-long podcast, so it flew by. It easily could have been like a 3-hour-long podcast. But
I know hours, but like. It's funny, like everyone here, like I don't really promote the podcast much here just because, I don't know, I don't want to come out to everyone as like...
come out to everyone as a fucking podcaster. I don't want them to know. Well, you don't.
Well,
I
just
get it,
don't
bro.
want them to know every. Like, I get real fucking open and personal on this shit, and it's so weird that I don't care if perfect strangers know the intimate details of my life.
Yeah.
But I'm like, the people I know. I mean,
that's why Facebook. Yeah. I don't really care anymore. Like for me, it like my comparison was when I was working, like that community of people.
In the same way that your work, like that's how I feel about this. But like once I move, I'm gonna see how many followers I can pick up by actually plugging this shit for the people back here.
Oh, for sure. Well, and like we haven't done any I mean, barely any. We're doing like, not even just promoting the live shows, but like when we talk about a topic,
been putting the sails up and letting the wind take us where we might for a while, but we're still steering the ship.
Oh, for sure.
We're like, I mean,
it seems like we don't
know. We're moving, but we got to keep this up.
It seems like we don't know what the fuck's going on, but we're pretty. We've done a few of these, and I've liked it's definitely been a lot longer, just because everything's taken a lot longer to do. But it's been nice just not having to worry about guests and just, we can focus on mutual masturbation stories.
Plus, if we didn't do this, like, I'd really only talk to old ladies and random people at the salon.
I wouldn't talk to anybody. Except for, like, that's one of the awesome parts of being on the Loudest Geeks. I was able to talk to, like, not only talk to people for an extended amount of time, but talk to people, geek out about shit. Like, I love that shit, man. Like, one of the podcasts I might start or produce for somebody, I don't know. But I want to start doing, like, a tech or a geek, not geek, like, comic, well, maybe, I don't know. But I want to do something that fills that kind of void. Now that I'm not selling the shit anymore, I still love technology. So it's like, while I was selling it, it's like I didn't want anything to do. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to listen to it. I unsubscribed all the podcasts that I used to listen to that were on technology until now. Now I listen to all of them again. And then I'm still like, they don't understand. Because everybody on every podcast or tech podcast, not necessarily Loudest Geeks in the Room, but most shows, they speak about it from like being a super geek, like we do about MMA, versus the majority of people who the actual consumers who use the product, like they have no idea.
You mean like with MMA?
yeah, exactly. I don't know how that comparison works out necessarily.
Oh no, it's perfect because I know so many casual fans that are like, if they sat down and talked with us, they'd be like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?"
Yeah.
Like, well,
that's
we review every card.
Definitely, the depth of it's going to be different
and break it down.
Yeah,
but
fight. The positives, the things that they think are positive about a piece of technology are positive to them, but aren't a positive to an actual buyer. They don't understand what the actual positive things are that buyers actually look for, or consumers anyway. But I that's one of those things that hopefully maybe start a podcast, another one. Why not? Fuck it. I actually know how to do this shit, bro. Shit's easy. But yeah, that's crazy. That happened today.
Yeah,
I was buying a car today, and you were reliving a pretty traumatic moment.
Yeah, the worst day of my life.
Yeah,
just relived that whole thing.
Well, not even reliving it, like finding out details for the first time. Yeah, that's a new chapter.
So now, like,
those are the dark
files. Video
files
of that in my head.
Yeah.
Like, not from my point of view.
No, this is Keith CGI. Keith GI.
But like from the movie of my life point, like the camera point of view.
Is it a wide shot or is it
it's
like
a wide shot
close
from
up?
behind? Guys kneeling beside me. The guy trying to help me. The guy who told me about it. Yeah. Cop walks up dickishly.
Yeah.
Flops me over.
Does this guy have a gut?
No, he's a young kid. Damn it. Thin.
I don't know why. Like I was thinking, you said kid, but for some reason, asshole's like, oh, it's just a fat cop that doesn't really give a fuck.
Is he dead?
Like, yeah, he's like, I've seen too many bodies. Gotta stop drinking.
Is he dead?
Yeah. That's it's like, I'm not a fucking doctor, first off. Like, do you see Scrubs, bro?
Like, no, like, dude, I was a lifeguard. if you roll someone, you have someone holding the neck and head region.
Yeah. You don't want to move people. You want,
after a traumatic injury accident, just to fucking flop someone over.
Yeah. That's, I don't even think you'd have more respect for a deer in some respect. Maybe. I don't know. No, you wouldn't.
I don't know, but
you're pretty much a deer.
Like for that dude, like, and it's not like that dude's going on cop watch every day and just trying to nitpick shit cops do. He's like, man, that was fucked up. And I was like, wow. I mean, that sucks. And now I'm kind of mad about it.
You would think that's just ridiculous. I don't know. I don't have a very favorable opinion of police anyway, but it's fucked up, bro. It's fucked up. You'll probably get cancer anyway.
It hasn't been a good day since then.
Maybe somebody will retaliate against him, just as a cop.
I don't want that.
No, I'm just saying, just flop him over or something.
Although I would I'd like to sit down and be like, yeah, man, this is exactly what I heard. And if that's true, that's kind of fucked up.
Bro, we should do a prank. We should prank him. We should get Kern to go visit and be you and say, this is what you did to me. Because you were an asshole. This is what you did to me. And then just leave it at that. Never actually show that you're okay. That's pretty fucked up. See, I can be an asshole. I can be an asshole, Keith. It's deep down inside. Just gotta scratch around a little bit, and then it'll be like, listen, man, we know people.
Actually, man, on that one, I gotta go smoke a cigarette.
Yeah. That was that fucked up. Come on, don't be a fucking pussy. I don't even know. I didn't even prepare any. Oh, no, I do have something. I have just an ad. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Word.
40 minutes. That was fast. All right, break time for the Inspired Disorder podcast. Please take this time to go subscribe to the show. You can find full episodes of the show on YouTube and Vimeo if you prefer the video versions of the show. If you like to be more portable, you just like to listen, that's fine too. You can check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. Please subscribe to us on any of those platforms. Feel free to rate and review our show. And as always, tell some friends. Share us online. I know you guys use the internets, the Twitter, Instagram, Periscope. I understand these things. I'm hip to the game of what these kids are doing with their big phones in their pockets, all right? So, share alike. There's a lot of sharing going on. You can do all that stuff. Just search Inspired Disorder Podcast on any of those platforms, and it should show up. Or you could just go to inspireddisorder.com/podcast, and there's links for all of those different sites and things like that to subscribe. So that's something you could do while we're taking this break. Something else you could do, you could check out our sponsor. Usually at the end of the show, sometimes at the beginning, changing things up. Going to do the sponsor now. We're pre-recording the sponsors, but it's okay, people. Everything's going to be okay. This is our break. Instead of getting busted for copyright stuff, allegedly, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be selling stuff to you. But it's break time. It's commercial time. So if they're a little bit longer, because Keith and I have to take leaks. This is grown-up commercial time. Like Keith and I are doing grown-up things. And you could do grown-up things, like going over to robgtv.com and buying yourself some shirts like an adult. You could buy the Union and the Culture High t-shirts. Both amazing documentaries. If you haven't seen either of these documentaries, I highly recommend checking them out. If you have Netflix, they are there. Go check them out. The Union was the first of the two. The Culture High is the most recent. Both focused on marijuana legalization and just behind the scenes stuff that most people don't even know about. Everybody kind of just floats through their existence just knowing whatever propaganda had trickled down over the centuries. So these documentaries are amazing, produced by our friend Adam Scorgi. He's been on the show a few times. Robert Garza, our other friend, host and producer of the Pursuit podcast and producer of the Jiu-Jitsu podcast. Robert Garza is a good dude, and that is his website, robgtv.com. So go there and buy the shirts. Use my name, Ray, R-A-Y, for an extra 20% off. The shirts are sold as a 2-pack. They're both black shirts. So if you're like me and you want to look a little bit thinner wearing your t-shirt, then, for sure, get it. They're comfortable. I wear mine all the time. It's great. So go RobGTV, coupon code Ray, 20% off the Union and the Culture High t-shirts. Go buy the shirts and support those documentaries. And also at the same time, you're supporting us. So real quick, before we get back to the show, one last thing. New thing going on, IDP clips. Maybe you've seen the hashtag. Maybe you've seen the posts on Facebook or on Twitter. So the IDP clips are just clips, classic moments of the podcast, or pretty much every episode. If we talk about UFC, I'll cut those out as well. So it's all of our UFC conversations and classic moments from past episodes, from classic moments from classic episodes. I think that sounds better. So go check those out. You can find both of those. There's a playlist on the YouTube page for Inspired Disorder, and then there's also the Facebook page for the Inspired Disorder podcast. They get uploaded there. So go check those out. Videos are anywhere from 3 minutes to 30 minutes generally. So they range, but they're definitely a lot shorter than the 2-hour-long episodes that we put out generally. So if you want to share those instead of a full episode to your friends, feel free to do that as well. But always share with your friends. Tell your friends about the show. Spread the love. Let's get more people listening, watching the show. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes and all that stuff. So without further ado, we come back to the show with... And we're back!
Back again.
Back in the... I'm better at the songs in the beginning of the show.
Back at the saddle again.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of some other song. I don't know. I was thinking of probably 4 different songs that just had the word back in it.
Back in the saddle again.
Yeah. I tried to listen to... Or I didn't try to. I listened to some old Aerosmith a couple weeks ago. I was much more of a fan when I was younger.
Well, we didn't have much to pick from back then.
I mean, we did, but I mean, they weren't as accessible.
How could we find it?
That's true. We were limited as far as our access to.
If it's not on the radio.
That's true, man. Dude, I had to drive home. First off, took me about an hour to get home. Have a radio. I heard maybe 2 songs the whole time. It's fucking ridiculous.
Ads.
Yeah,
ads, bro.
Ads, traffic reports. I mean, I did happen to go finish.
They don't do traffic reports here.
Yeah, they do. They do here, and I never hear any of that shit because I listen to music. I don't listen to ads on the radio. Yeah, so that is like, dude, radio. It's the same thing when I watch TV. It's fucking ridiculous every time I see an ad. Doesn't bother me as much with the YouTube ads, little pop-ups. You get used to kind of skip ad, whatever.
Hulu's the worst. It's like, which do you prefer? And it's like, how about none?
Yeah, which you want a Land Rover or do you want Propecia? Which one do you want to watch an ad for every 15 minutes? What would you?
15. It's like every 7.
Yeah,
it's bad.
I haven't watched Hulu in forever.
I would always watch it when I still had the internet at the house. I would keep up on like the Colbert and Jon Stewart.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, when I didn't have a TV,
they have that like the very next day, so it's awesome. It's like, oh, well, I'll just fucking watch that.
Yeah, there was some stuff I used to watch when I used to watch stuff just on my computer before I got a TV. I just watched, I'd watch Hulu. And it wasn't as bad. Like, I'd watch House and shit like that. But the ads weren't that bad then. Like, they've definitely gotten worse. Because I know I've tried to watch some shit on Hulu, and it's like, damn. The worst is, like, the fucking movies.
Certain shows for them, like, some of their exclusives, they put even more ads in, it seems like. The Awesomes was a pretty good, or is a pretty good animated series they had. just commercial the fuck out of that.
That's fucking ridiculous, man. I don't know. I've got enough to watch with podcasts and then Netflix.
What's even like certain podcasts, I really don't like. If you're gonna do the ads, do them at the beginning, do them at the end. I don't like them in the middle.
There's only a few, like Fighter and the Kid. They have ads, but they throw them in between segments, so it's not that bad. You know,
it's not, and it seems like they record them new before or after the show.
I think they pre-record them. They do that before they record the show.
Because even when they did the Fighter and the Voice recently, like the ads were him and Skylar and not him and Brian.
Shab did a Periscope fucking couple weeks ago or whatever, and it was before they started recording, and they were going over their ads for the day. So I think that's what they do. First off, they just record the promos, and then they shoot them in. They edit it all in later.
How about I'm a giant fan of this fucking musical kid?
Right? It's like I almost like if maybe Redbox, if I get a free rental, I'll watch it on Redbox. Maybe rent the first one. I don't know. He's got a great voice, man. Great fucking makes me want to sing.
The voice like that gets me, even though he's got a great voice.
Yeah.
But
it's funny too.
He's funny. Like he knows all about fighting. He's friends. Like he's talking about being in a circle with Dana White and fucking
Bruce Buffer,
and like he's good personal friends with Chris Weidman.
Yeah. I mean, he fits with the show, definitely, and he gives kind of that artistic kind of flair that Brian Callen does, but in a completely different way, you know,
in a liar pants on fire way,
and a less like completely bullshit. Professor kind of speaking.
I love Callen, but
me too.
Literally, that episode might have been my favorite in a while.
Which one? Oh, the voice one. Yeah, for sure. I really like Brendan just on his own, just doing. If he just had a one-on-one podcast without Callen, like still do Fighter and the Kid, but do like, I mean, if he doesn't go back to fighting, which every time it seems like more and more that he's not.
More and more every time it's like, I don't think he's gonna do it anymore.
Yeah, he's like,
I
it's
think
on
that
hold.
Joe talk finally sunk in. And,
and the Reebok deal, and the fact that the podcast is blowing up, and they're selling shirts like fucking crazy, and he's doing the ESPN.
Sell out every print they made, like instantly.
Yeah.
I see him retweet all this shit, and it's like they put it up. And it's like everyone's like, got my shirt, I got my shirt. Motherfucker, I couldn't get a shirt. Motherfucker, I couldn't get it. And it's like, oh shit, man, they sell out instantly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have, he mentioned like 1.5, over 1 million in a month, and they do 2 a week?
2 a week at least.
So that spreads it out a little bit. But that's like, those are Rogan numbers. Those are Rogan. I mean, from what Rogan said too of his numbers, and he does 3 a week, and his was like a month. But I think
oddly enough, man, they weren't hitting those numbers before that Rogan talk.
Oh no. That fuck yeah, man. I mean, I didn't even know that. I mean, that was a great fucking episode. That's when I first started listening. I didn't even know. I mean, I knew they did a show
before that, and then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, because I thought it was a Rogan episode that they had talked about it, but they just recorded it at his studio. But yeah, that's where I started listening. And that's also where I became a Callen fan, because I was not a Callen fan.
Oh, I always liked Brian.
I tried listening to his show, when he had his podcast. I could not do it. But now that I get him, he's kind of like Brody in a way. Like if you don't get Brody Stevens, then you probably don't like him. You know, it's kind of like Callen. Not quite as extreme as Brody, but yeah, it's a great show, man. It's a great show. But that one, I don't mind that they put the ads. There's some like Doug Love's movies. I
don't understand those though, because they're not actually 90% of the time promoting anything.
What, the Doug Love movies ones, or the Getting Doug with High one?
Getting Doug with High, I should say.
Well, I don't know about. Do you listen to that, or you obviously, I don't know if the ads are the same. Like they usually promote other shows that are on the network.
They're the same, but they just play it audio wise, so it makes
that's stupid.
Absolutely no fucking sense.
They should cut that shit.
Just people talking.
poor production. Yeah, that's not somebody that realizes. Like when I edit shit, there's a slightly different version for our audio podcast than our video podcast. Like because I understand what the audio audience they're listening, I understand that, and then I understand video is different. So they're kind of produced slightly different. So that's just they just
But I'm not complaining. It's still a free.
They're
fucking
a video.
podcast.
Yeah, it's
Like,
a video podcast network, so they're definitely geared way more for the video production side of it than the audio. The audio is just like they can just rip the audio. It's an afterthought for them producing the video podcast.
Which is weird though, because like, all right,
But that would annoy me if I
we've talked
listened
about
to
it a little bit with iTunes in the fact that to have your video put up on iTunes, it costs a shitload of money.
I don't even know. Yeah, it's not worth it though. People
So
don't subscribe to video podcasts on iTunes.
Shab and Callan
They put the
condense
highlight.
like 20-minute.
Yeah, they do a video highlight. I could probably do a short highlight clip and upload it to our thing.
But that's what they're number one in on iTunes.
They're on the same feed.
Is a video podcast. Oh, and they both download.
Yeah.
But none of my other podcasts that I like, there's a video element to it. At least on iTunes.
No. Yeah, nobody does video on iTunes anymore. Fox can afford it. But I could do a short little preview clip or whatever, but that's not where YouTube. If you want to subscribe and watch a fucking all of the podcasts, yeah, it's not even worth it to put a video podcast on iTunes. Like it's just that's literally like old shit. That's really old shit for podcasting.
Especially for free though.
Yeah. No, video. I mean, it's all video. YouTube's free. You don't pay anything.
Yeah,
for
no,
YouTube.
but I'm saying like with iTunes wise, like even a lot of podcasts we listen to, they put out premium episodes, which are like $2 to download.
Yeah. But that's to make money. What does that have to do with the video?
But I'm saying like, I don't even know. I lost myself.
Those are different things. Like the video thing's nice. They're promoting, and I went to go find because if you go to their website that the Fighter and the Kid. Whatever the fuck the website is, they have their video, the full episodes in video format, but it's under Fox's YouTube page, and it's a separate playlist that's outside of the field, off the field, so it's mixed in with a bunch of other shit. So it's not just Fighter and the Kid playlist.
There's been a couple times where accidentally they downloaded the entire episode in video form.
Oh, on their iTunes feed?
On their iTunes, and then I've downloaded, just because I take my computer to work or whatever, and then just download shit there and listen to it at home.
Yeah.
But like, I think the Tate Fletcher episode accidentally got the whole thing downloaded, so I got to watch that whole thing live, or
cool.
At least video-wise, which was cool.
Yeah.
But it was like, right after that, it got taken off.
Yeah, because they probably realize, oh shit, that's a huge fucking file that we're serving out to a million people.
So fucking
that probably cost them so fucking much money to do
for
that.
the speed of download all these podcasts go through. Rogan's take a while because.
What do you mean? Like to get posted?
No, to download.
Oh, they're probably super high.
I can see how fast they all download.
Some of our episodes are super large
Some of them
files.
are super fast. Some of ours are super slow too.
Yeah. No, I know that. Those are usually the longer episodes because I have to do a fucking weird thing to even get it. Like it's such a. They end up being like
video
huge.
podcast takes for fucking
it's HD,
instantly
man.
when it goes downloading. It says 15 minutes and it ain't fucking around. I was like, God damn.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's
Obviously,
cool. I don't know.
The fastest computer on earth, but
yeah. Well, I mean, and your internet's probably not. I don't know. Well, I guess it's good enough for this shit, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's, yeah, the video thing. It's just that's old shit for iTunes. So it's like the fact that they do it for their show. I don't know how much it actually helps their show out. I mean, it's a cool feature.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll watch some of the short clips, even after I've listened to the podcast. Just
so, are they edited like just condensed, or are they just a clip from the show?
It's different parts of it. They cut shit out.
So it's kind of like the Rogan little
kind of
clips.
A best of.
Yeah. Okay. That's so
even
much
though it's
work.
not always the best of. They just take
a clip.
I don't know who does it.
Probably what's his face, Evan the Beard.
Evan?
Yeah, he's the producer.
Yeah, maybe.
So unless they have more than their 2 interns, but
oh, man, the video, I just watched part of that video from the Fighter and the Voice, and they started off right into the bigger dick bandits. Because my dick's bigger than Brian's. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry.
It's hilarious, man.
Oh, and after I listened to it, I started like singing around the house. Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like, that's when I was listening to it. It's like, like I'm not singing. I can't sing, but I mean, nobody's fucking around. I'll definitely sing. Yeah,
I'm off in
and
the
I'm
background.
like, but not just singing, not just like whatever, but like trying to sing.
Oh yeah, he's telling me how to sound. Like,
it's like, oh no, I gotta go from down here.
Big dick bandits.
Yeah,
big dick bandits.
First off, I hope that there's still people there where you are and got to hear your rendition. Oh,
there aren't a big dick bandits.
Yeah, it's like, what kind of show does he do on the internet? Did he bring lotion in there? Yeah, it's a fun podcast, but the ads. There's not too many shows that I listen to that have midstream ads.
Smodcast.
See, I don't listen to that.
Anything on that?
I bet. Most of them, they're making tons. The ones that any ad they play in the middle, those they get so much more money for those ads. They're making tons of money. Joe Rogan is making a shitload of money podcasting. He's making
unfortunately
profit.
Like Hulu. I'm so tired of the same fucking ads.
Yeah, that's the same
If you
thing.
listen to The Church and you listen to Joe and you listen to On It, I'm like, I love On It. I love Aubrey. But, yeah, tired of hearing about that shit.
I mean,
MeUndies.
That's us, though. They're not advertising us. Yeah.
Tired of hearing about jerking off in UFC.
just like Nature Box or Audible or all the fucking. That's why it's like when I was trying to do
Stamps.com.
Stamps.com. Yeah, but they're making fucking bank. They're making a lot of money. Fucking mattress companies. Did you see? There's another thing that what's that? Yeah, Saatva or Casper. Casper's the other competitor that I've heard a lot of ads for. Which that's kind of, hopefully they're still doing podcast ads then.
I just all the sex toy ads.
Yeah, that's
everyone.
true.
Adam and Eve.
Because they're the only people that were investing in
back in the day, 3 years ago.
Yeah. At least when they were doing it, but before that, they were still big. Like Netflix used to be a podcast thing. Squarespace has been supporting podcasts since I started listening to podcasts. So
good for Squarespace though, because that really grew their fucking they found a perfect niche to advertise in. It's like, hey, do you want to make do you want to make a podcast?
Dude, both of my websites are through Squarespace. Like, I'm not going to use anything else.
Damn near made a social network off of Squarespace.
No, that wasn't Squarespace. That was something else. No, that costs a lot more and looks like dog shit. So that's why I never.
MySpacey.
What's that? Yeah, it was.
MySpacey.
Yeah, it was very MySpacey, but like it was just and it was a pain. Like when people started, there was a lot of like hackers, and I had to make it super hard for people to sign up, and then so like people just couldn't sign up because it was like I couldn't just monitor that fucking website all the time.
You know what's weird though? That Inspired Disorder Collective really started a lot of shit, man.
Yeah, I caught the wave. I caught that Death Squad wave at a good point, and turned the audience that I got, all of my audience, into podcasters.
I mean, it started crazy other podcasts, and even dudes that don't do it now. I mean, they're still probably lifelong podcast listeners.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's what it's going to keep being. It's always going to be when I get back, once I'm done with this place and we're in Denver. That's one of the things I want to get back into is, getting, not necessarily adding a bunch of fucking new shows to the network, but setting it up as more of a comedy club where they develop talent. Like, I want it to be, if you're somebody who's curious about starting a podcast, you could go to IDC, the InspiredDisorderCollective.com. You can learn the equipment you need. You can learn whatever technical shit you need to learn. And then you also have a network that you can join, and you have instant audience, which I never had an instant audience. Everybody in the IDC started their podcast with an audience. Maybe not a huge audience, but they definitely had an audience that communicated with them. That's something I didn't have for like the first year and a half of podcasting. And then I broke my hand. Then Justin and I came back, and then we started talking about Rogan. And then it's like, oh, everybody that listened to Rogan at the time is like, oh, let's go check this shit out.
It was the Monkey Todd episode that actually broke this podcast.
One. Yeah, Monkey Todd episode. The Ice House Chronicles. Because I watched that live and recalled, and I told Just he didn't see it, so I was telling him everything that happened.
And I had watched it live too. So
all of everybody else did. Yeah,
somebody retweeted. Someone retweeted the episode.
Well, Postal Poet also wrote a blog. Well, Postal Poet wrote a blog about Death Squad, but then they mentioned our podcast at the end. That was kind of the first thing. But definitely the Monkey Todd episode, that was kind of a, and I tweeted a few times, like, if you like the Joe Rogan podcast, you should check out our podcast. And we went live. We had a ton of live viewers back then, because that's what, everybody
live watching was way more.
It's awesome, man.
That happened a lot back then as opposed to now.
Still does. It's just they don't promote. Nobody promotes
Rogan, man.
Yeah, but he doesn't promote it. He does them live, but he doesn't promote it. I never see it promoted.
He does, but I mean, it's just like back in the day. I think we were all just on Twitter more, just so we saw.
It was a different time. It was definitely a different time. There was a lot more communication, and a lot of the shows were like, okay, Ice House Chronicles is on Friday. There was kind of a schedule. Like Bone Zone was on like a Tuesday or some shit. And there's like, you could kind of set up, and even Rogan, I think, did his shows kind of slightly scheduled. Now they're just whenever the fuck he wants to do them. But it was definitely a different time, man. Now with Periscope, this is a different landscape. Podcasting is, it's a totally different, it's changing, it's on more devices than ever, like most people that have no idea what a podcast is owns at least one or two devices that they can get a podcast on,
Oh, at least.
TVs, Blu-ray players, computers, phones, all that shit. But it was a crazy time, man. It was I'm sure the wave that everybody with IDC and everybody, just the whole thing, that whole kind of movement that happened, a few years ago. I'm sure that was, I bet Red Band felt that, I'm sure it's calmed down a lot. Now that he's just focused on primarily Kill Tony. I mean, he does dysentery and stuff.
He was barely doing comedy back.
Yeah.
When it all started, now he's fucking, that's his life. So, yeah, this podcast, less podcasting done by him, but he's still running all kinds of shows and shit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, not that he's not doing anything. He's definitely fucking doing a lot. But it's just, I'm just saying, I'm sure he noticed, as far as like, I don't know, just, I'm sure it's a different level from what we experienced, but I'm sure he noticed that the wave of everything had subsided. There's not like this huge gathering on a live broadcast where everybody's kind of chatting in the chat room. I mean, it still kind of happens, but it's like, I don't know if I know any of them, and it's not it's not nearly like it was. Not nearly like
everyone in the damn chat room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like, it's definitely changed, but it's not the same. It's like the whole live thing is just kind of a feature. It's not really the main attraction. But
I mean, that's with everything now. Yeah. Everyone wants it at their own leisure. Mm-hmm. You don't want to fucking. That's why cable TV is dying. It's you don't want to have to. It's why DVR is so huge.
I mean, I stopped watching. Eventually, I stopped watching the live ones. It's just life gets in the way. Other things happen. You can't just. That's the thing with
you're
TV.
Just like, I'll get it later.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's on Vimeo.
Before I would be like,
not anymore, but
oh shit, there's a Rogan on. I'm fucking.
Yeah.
I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, it's like, man, well, yeah, back then you knew it's like, oh, at 4 they're gonna go live. Like, let me get home, turn it on, make sure I'm ready, make sure I have my beer. That's the only thing now on Mondays. although I forgot, I missed most of it, is Kill Tony on Mondays. So that one, especially since the video still hasn't been updated since, I don't know, October of last year. It was like the last video that was uploaded. I don't know if it was that long ago, but I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't have a lot of there's probably about 30 episodes of 4K video they need to edit and release. And I don't know, maybe they're editing them and just not releasing them. I don't know what they're doing. But that's a lot of work. So yeah, I'll go with the Ustream. I'm caught up on everything, so it's not like I missed anything, but
I just heard 101 today. Really? Needles was on that one.
Yep. That was a good one, man.
He did pretty good too.
Yeah. Dude, everybody that I know that's been on there has done well.
Heidi did good.
Yeah.
Bricks Bullis has done good.
I don't remember. He was on the 100th episode, right?
He was on the 100th.
And they gave him shit.
He said he did horrible. It wasn't horrible.
No, he needs to go up on stage more, man. Yeah, he only does Kill Tony.
He only does stand up at Kill Tony like every 3 months.
So, I mean, I get it. You know, he's got a lot of other stuff going on, but that's going to help. That's how you refine the edges. That's how you get those edges gone. You can't just mentally get rid of those edges. That's where the work comes. But he's still great. I mean, he's fucking first time ever doing stand-up. Is probably one of the best people that I've heard doing stand-up for the first time. I mean, it was a super complex joke that he did kind of in that 1 minute. There's been a lot of good comedy on that show. There was an episode, I don't know if it was, no, it wasn't this, probably last week's or maybe 2 weeks ago. It was just like every 1 minute was a killer. It was ridiculous. It was good. But sometimes, I mean, I do like seeing somebody fucking bomb. I like seeing, because I see them. It's like I'm in the belly room. It's like I'm there again, but without having to drive 2.5 hours and pay for parking and
it's slightly uncomfortable to watch someone bomb for me.
I'm sure, for sure. But for me, nah, I'm good. Not that I encourage
never stood up there and been fucking flop sweating this shit out.
I do feel bad, but I know, like, people fuck up, man. You're not gonna you can't be afraid to fuck up. You have to learn to deal with the fact that you're gonna fuck up many times throughout your life. It's just watching them be able to deal with it or learn how to start dealing with it. But fucking yeah, man. Kill Tony live podcast Mondays 8:00.
Belly Room
comedy store. LA.
Feeling it. Yes.
I was trying to think of a fucking Brody quote too. I was like, I couldn't think of anything. I was trying to think of the area code. I couldn't do. I failed. I completely failed in that moment. See, like I said,
818 in the valley.
How do you handle your failures is what, and I just mumble and kind of blush a little bit and kind of just put my drink down.
So what'd you think of the Bruce Jenner pictures that everyone's fucking talking about?
Well, the first time I saw the Vanity Fair cover, I thought it was an actress, like Rene Russo or some shit. Like, I just thought it was some actress. I didn't know that was him. And then later I've heard, on podcasts and everything, and saw the Daily Show clip about how he's like, oh, you want to be, which I've heard a lot of other people in podcasts say very similar things, where it's like, oh, you want to be a woman? Well, now this is how women are treated in the media. And he kind of ran through. Did you watch the Daily Show?
I haven't seen that. No.
Yeah, it's not something to run out and immediately to your local Blockbuster and pick up that YouTube video, but I don't know. It's like I don't give a fuck, man. First off,
it's like good for him. Whatever makes him happy.
He's a murderer. He killed somebody not that long ago.
Yeah, and that's the flip side.
Which is another thing I hear on podcasts.
3 months ago, he totally fucking killed someone.
So now he looks completely different. Not really, but he has a dress on and boobs. Like, are those legit? Did he get a boob job now? Is that why the pictures are there?
Or is I don't know if they just taped him up.
Yeah.
I can look like I have.
No, there was a picture. There was a picture of him in a car. I think it was like a red shirt or some shit. But it was like he had a rack But I don't know if it was like
I saw
a
that,
fake
but
bra.
I think that a lot of contouring with Photoshop and
I don't know. Those are huge. Those are huge.
Who
titties.
knows? Like I said,
I don't know.
Good
either.
for him.
Yeah,
whatever makes him like. It doesn't affect my life.
No.
Like the whole
everybody,
hero worship of it, I think is weird.
It's that's the media. It's just like everybody. If you're gay, come out. But I understand that like if you're in the South or whatever, or your parents like shoot gay people, maybe you're scared of coming out. But it's like I want people to be comfortable doing whatever the fuck they want to do. You know, I know what it's like to be uncomfortable and awkward around people, and then you kind of like figure out how to. Because I'm completely comparing my trials and tribulations growing up to somebody who's been in the closet. But it's everybody should be able to live however the fuck they want. No, but I'm just saying.
Women.
Whether you're transgender or you are gay or whatever it is, like anybody in the closet for anything. It's not good, man. Like they need to be in an environment where they can be comfortable being who the fuck they are. And if you feel in your heart that you were a woman and you look like a dude, then be a woman. Fucking do it. If you have tendencies to act like a golden retriever, fucking do that. Not that that's the same thing, but it's like I don't give a fuck what people want to do. It doesn't affect me. Doesn't hurt me. Doesn't alter my life or my existence in any way. In fact, it probably makes people more open to whatever the fuck people might have against me. You know, not that I'm a white dude, so we both have pretty good draw the cards as far as this country. We don't have to worry about like we'll probably get tased or pepper sprayed by cops, but we're not too in the line of a bullet. You know?
Oh no,
they don't like to shoot at white
targets. Might get hit by a baton once or twice, but they're not straight going for the gun.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. I'm good for him, bro. But at the same time, you did kill somebody.
I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because everyone else has, but I just wanted to be like, yo, it's cool. That dude killed someone, and straight up, like because he has money, like if one of us caused that accident.
Oh, we're done. Our lives are we're gone. Like, bye Denver. Bye everything.
For him, it was nothing. It wasn't even.
He got a fucking show. He has a show now. He has a spin-off fucking show.
It was a blink. It was like, oh, remember when he killed that guy?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. No.
It was a lady, but whatever. He killed someone.
Yeah.
And then he's like,
it's
the
weird
paparazzi were following me.
It's weird that like it's weird that he could kill somebody and get a show. He could still completely have a job, completely have his freedom, completely do whatever the fuck he wants. Completely, versus like, you know, we have John Jones, who's equally. I mean, didn't kill anybody, but he was definitely dumb. But it's like he's not. He doesn't have a show.
He's not a hero.
No, not at all. He's the opposite of what he was when he was a hero.
But he's
when he
still
first
black.
100%. That's true.
Has a lot to do with it.
Black. I wonder what I don't know what Albuquerque's like as far as racially. I'm sure it's just a lot. I'm sure it's similar to like the desert. Not a lot of black people where I grew up. A lot of Mexicans and white people and some Asians, but yeah, I don't know. It's fucking. I don't know. Did you see the John Jones the cop lapel video? Yeah. Fucking I wanted to get some Flaming Hot Funyuns just because product placement, you know. I would have got the Magnum condoms, the 4 or 5 boxes that he had in there, but you know, I don't need a parachute right now. I'm good. I don't need something that definitely will not fit on my dick.
No one needs that.
Unless I'm stuffing a leg in there too.
Shitload of condoms.
Yeah.
Marijuana pipe down here.
Yeah, it was a messy fucking car. So I could see how he would miss the pipe. When you're going in, you're in probably a weird mental state.
It got. I'm sure it flew on the floor, the messy floor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever. Yeah, but that's what it looked like after the accident.
Yeah.
And the chick would never accidentally misconstrue her having a child within her body. She was narrow as fuck.
She did not look pregnant.
Yeah, she was probably on the way to the planned pregnancy But now, how would that look like if, you're getting this big payday because
oh,
you're
no,
pregnant?
everyone knows I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Fuck!
It's like, I can't get rid of it. This is my golden ticket. My kid is going to I'm going to get John Jones' house in Albuquerque and then try and pay the fucking real estate taxes. I don't know, man. Did you see the new matchups for UFC? They got Wyman and Rockhold are supposed to be.
Wyman and Rockhold, and then DC and Gustafson.
Yeah. Which I like that fight better than Bader.
Yeah,
Not
think
at all.
I think they're gonna make Bader Evans, even though that's gonna be later in this year.
Dude, how long has Evans been out?
2 years, man.
Dude, that guy has been gone for fucking ever. Although it seems a lot.
Dominic Cruz, but
yeah,
he's been out for a long ass time.
That's true. But I was never a big I maybe saw Dominic Cruz fight once before he got injured, so it's not like I missed him. Not that I miss Rashad Evans, but he used to be annoying, in the octagon, and then it's not like I hated him.
He's the biggest dick bandit there is.
I know. That's why I was thinking of parachutes and what might be able to inflate a parachute with flesh. Of course, Rashad Evans, the sugar. He's got a pound of sugar between his legs. I think that's what it is. Some black sugar. Yeah.
And then Hendo's fighting this weekend on a
against
lackluster card out of Louisiana.
Rothwell, right?
Rothwell, Mitrione, and then Portier and
who's I'll look it up right now. Who is Dan Henderson fighting?
Tim Bosch.
Tim Bosch, that was it. Yeah. I mean, who do you got in that one?
I want to say Hendo every time because it's Hendo.
Because legacy. I get that. I get legacy. He's an icon.
I'm not gonna bet against him. It's not like Bosch has a lot of head movement. Like if he's still got that punch.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think
Henderson's fight, and he's not.
No. He's let me see Henderson's thing here. I want to say he hasn't won in a while, but that could be definitely wrong. He beat
Hendo,
dude. In his last 6 fights, he's won once, and that was against Shogun. Yeah, and that Shogun was his last win before that. So he beat Shogun, lost to Machida, lost to Rashad, lost to Vitor, then beat Shogun, which Shogun is a guy that's definitely one click ahead of retirement in comparison to Henderson. So he beat Shogun a second time, then he lost to Cormier, and then he lost to Musasi.
If he loses this one, I mean, he's still got a contract, but I don't know. They can probably avoid that shit.
I mean, maybe a super fight. I mean, this isn't a super fight, but I mean, maybe there's somebody if he still wants to fight. He could fight Rampage or something.
This is not
I don't
a
know.
Fucking main event. Yeah, no, I would agree. Him and Rampage again would be a good one, but this is not a fucking main event.
First off, I don't really have any desire to see Dan Henderson. I mean, there's much respect paid to Dan Henderson, but there's no desire to watch him. Like the whole fucking when he was supposed to fight John Jones, the most ridiculous. I mean, that's more ridiculous than that was the fact that they did the Chael Sonnen fight. But
I watched him live fight Anderson Silva, which was pretty cool.
That was not too bad. That was, I mean,
he
lost
won
to
the first
Silva.
round.
Yeah, that was probably one of the first Anderson Silva fights where it was like, oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
No, it was the second one because the first maybe was Travis Lutter.
Yeah, except for the fact that Lutter came in fucking your
fucking. It wasn't actually for the belt.
Like your fucking leg in the goddamn demobilizer. He was stuck in a demobilizer for his weight cut. He looked like shit. I mean, he looked like dog shit. But yeah, I mean, that was in the fight though. Was it close in the fight?
Yeah, fucking Lutter had him mounted at one point. I mean, Anderson won by a triangle, but
Yeah.
he was fucking.
Well, Luder, I
He
think,
was on
gassed.
top.
Yeah, I think he just gassed.
He just
out.
gassed out. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tim Bosch versus Dan Henderson. I got Tim Bosch.
I'll go Hendo on that.
I like Tim
nostalgia.
Bosch. Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. It's like if he wins, like, is he gonna stick around? I mean, here's the thing. If Dan Henderson wins, please retire. Right? Just retire.
Please go out on
that's
top.
Like that's
even though it's just Tim
Bosch. Yeah, and I kind of think Tim Bosch is going to win it. But if you do win, yeah,
especially if you knock him the fuck out,
yeah,
drop
if it's
the
a good,
gloves,
absolutely,
drop the mic, fucking
give Rogan a hug or whoever the fuck is.
No, Rogan's not going to be doing this one.
Give John Anik a hug. Reach down and like kind of bend your back a little bit and give little John Anik a hug. So the next one, the Ben Rothwell, Matt Mitrione. Who you got on that one?
That's a tough one.
I'm not choosing.
I'm going Mitrione.
Yeah, that's same. What are you basing that on? Are you basing that? Is it emotion or are you basing it on
likability?
Yeah, he's like because
they're both the same guy essentially. Yeah. It's just I like Mitrione
Although I like
better.
Mitrione's like a little kind of fucking crazy. You know, he's got you can see like springs almost hanging out.
It's all from the fighter and the kid.
Yeah,
honestly.
But I liked him before that. But I definitely,
it's funny.
Yeah, I've only heard him on there once, but they talk him up a lot. So I listen. Fighter and the Kid has made me change at least my aggressiveness to my theory of Tim Tebow. So I kind of, just because
I'm still on the fuck Tim Tebow.
I mean, he does a lot of good shit, but there's something wrong with.
He's a nice guy.
There's some issue there. There's something there. There's something that concerns me there. Maybe that's why he does so much good, because maybe there's, I don't know, but it's out of respect for Brendan Schaub, future guest of the podcast. For spoiler alert, people. Spoiler alert. Yeah. So Matt Mitrione against Ben Rothwell. I saw Big Ben when I was at the UFC. Well, I saw a lot of fighters, but I saw him in the lobby, like when we first showed up in the UFC Expo a few years ago. Like we checked in, and then my girlfriend's dad is like, "You see any fighters yet?" Because he's a huge MMA fan, and I was like, "I think I just saw Ben Rothwell just walk by." Because it's like, when you're watching shit on TV versus like experiencing people in real life, the scale is completely different. Like, this dude's gigantic, and it's like, I'm pretty sure that I think,
giant guys look smaller and then little guys look bigger.
Yeah, I see Ben Rothwell, he looks like a giant. I see fucking what's his name? The dude that just won, the small, he's like, he giggles a lot. He does
Dotson?
John Dotson. No, wait, is that John Dotson?
Does the backflip off the cage.
And he heckles like a little gremlin kind of a guy. Yeah, John Dotson.
John Dotson.
He's tiny, so small. He's such a small person.
I saw Mike Brown, who had originally beat Faber in the WEC and beat him twice.
Yeah.
I saw him at the Arnold Classic, and he was a little tiny guy, and I was like, oh, what? So Clay Guida was another small guy.
Yeah. It's fucking weird. So weird. And then I see Cain Velasquez. Not that physically imposing. He's tall, but he's like, I don't know. He seems like just a tall person that's middle management somewhere. He doesn't really seem like whatever.
Except his head's super fucking big.
Not really. I didn't think his head was big.
At least even the pictures of him, man. His head looks big.
Maybe.
Even compared to his decently big body.
I never had that there's never been a time where I'm like, God damn, that dude's head is big. There's never been a time I thought of that. Yeah, it's like, look at the chrome dome on that bitch. Brown pride for sure. Big Brown. Yeah, so next one, Dustin Poirier versus Yancy.
That other guy?
Medeiros.
I got Poirier. It's his hometown.
I just watched Conor McGregor's like 3 fights in the UFC. Fucking good though. And I watched one of his fights from whatever the fuck organization he was in before. He's good. I mean, he takes some shots, but I don't know. I'm really, really interested to see what the fuck happens. That's the next big card, right?
The big, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Poirier. And then we got Thiago Tavares, Brian Ortega, Joe Soto, blah 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 blah. Sean Jordan, Derek Lewis. It's going to be a fun card. Listen,
it could be a good card.
Chances are it's going to be a good card. Just like out of percentages of like smaller cards where you don't really recognize a whole bunch of people, and there's no real big hype on any of these fights. Definitely not the fucking main event.
They barely hype anything anymore, man.
Yeah,
Even the fucking Jones or the Cormier, Johnson, Weidman, Vitor.
Yeah.
I really, honestly don't think that they promoted that much.
Yeah, but I don't see. I mean, where are you seeing promotions though? Like, I don't know where I would necessarily see promotions other than people just being excited for them on podcasts.
Did you saw the media fanfare that happened months ago about the upcoming McGregor-Aldo fight?
Well, they specifically did a media tour around the world for that.
So why don't they do it for another giant card?
Because it would have fucking blew up in their face. Because
would have.
John Jones. Maybe they knew, but it was the first time they ever did it, so maybe it was just they're testing it out. I don't know, man. Maybe they'll do more of that in the future. I don't really care if they do or not. It doesn't really affect me.
Like, that just pumps up fights to get. For
sure. But that was already, I mean, that's just a crazy fucking fight anyway. Just Conor McGregor is the only reason the levels of hype that fight has. I mean, Conor McGregor made the UFC spend all that fucking money on the world tour, on the commercial. Like the only time I've ever seen a commercial like that, like promo for UFC, where they like filmed on location on the strip and shit. I don't know, man. I'm not hating on it. Like, whatever. I'm buying the cards anyway, It's not like I need to be hyped up on it.
Yeah.
And they still had their general, like, whatever their vlog thing is on YouTube. Their, embedded, whatever the fuck they call it. But that shit, I mean, I watch that stuff sometimes, but it's not like a staple of entertainment or anything. But yeah, man. Is there anything? What's the next card coming up after that? Is that the Aldo fight? No. Velasquez Verdum.
They're barely plugging that in.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's another injury thing since Velasquez
is always hurt.
Yeah. Which, did you see the video of him working? They talked about on Rogan's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It's just,
yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, that like I was saying, man, if you're getting injured all the time, it's not a medical thing like where you're just prone to injury. If you're just working out stupid, that's on you. If you can't keep your health, that's on you, man.
Well, that's why they made the big announcement today about like having their training center and like rehab center.
Yeah, I watched some of that thing where they talked about the drug testing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing. Yeah, that's cool. Like their nutrition, like they're giving a lot of fighters, not necessarily, it's probably not going to be as helpful for the established fighters that already have these people, but like for a lot of the newer fighters that are coming in, helps teach them, gives kind of fundamentals and a base for them instead of just kind of wiling out and training wrong. But I don't know. It's going to be weird, man, with the UFC because they're, like, company-wise, they're definitely adding a lot of infrastructure. And there's a lot of talk for that. I want to see a fucking...
I really don't know what they're doing, man. Honestly, like, there's a lot of cool stuff, kind of, but it seems to me like until they get a fighter union, like every other professional sport has, that they're going to be fucking taking advantage.
I mean, that's up to the fighters, man. And there's been a lot of fighters that have talked about it, Like there's what's his face? Jamie Varner, right? Was he the one that talked about it when he retired? I don't know if it was Jamie Varner. Somebody that just retired who was like, I think he was from WEC. I think he had like star tattoos on his shoulders or something.
That's
shit.
Jamie Varner.
I think that may have been him. But there's been a few people that have talked, either like post-fight interview or just, some post I read on on fucking Facebook.
But I mean, even Jose Aldo came out and said that he thought this Reebok deal was fucking shit.
Well, of course.
And that dude's a champ getting the biggest chunk of
He's a champ that like nobody knows about or gives.
Yeah,
the only reason
that
they
doesn't
give a fuck
matter.
about
I'm saying deal wise.
Yeah. Yo, the deal
like
for
he still gets.
It's shitty for everybody. You know, it's low.
Really, from the way that it looks.
Yeah.
And Dana keeps saying bullshit, but like.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean,
who knows,
if the fighters don't want to fight there, they can go over to fucking Bellator or whatever. Is it Bellator?
Bellator.
Yeah, like they can do that. They can, if they want to have their own sponsors, that there are options. It's going to be shitty. They're not going to be getting paid probably the same on the other end.
That's the flip. He keeps trying to throw that out there. You can keep your sponsors.
Yeah, that's like every other professional athlete.
Promote them at all whatsoever during the time that the cameras are on me.
Well, but look at every other professional sport. They get sponsorships. You know, but every other athlete,
every other professional sport, their minimum pay for the shittiest guy riding your bench.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah, that
usually
money's not
more.
But that's how sponsorship. That's not a fault of sponsorships. That's a fault of the organization not paying fighters enough. You know, there needs to be more compensation in that. But it's like, whatever. It's done. The Reebok thing's done. I don't think they're going back to sponsors.
No,
so it's like they're gonna have to
figure
figure something out.
Nah, everyone's been bitching.
Yeah, it's like we realized Reebok was kind of a shitty brand that we got, but like Adidas would have been better. Fila, I don't know, like anything would have been. K-Swiss, bro.
Going with a giant brand like Reebok, and I keep wanting to go.
I think he's selling
who in the fuck
next
ever.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone decked out Reebok.
It's a bigger deal for Reebok than it is for, even though Reebok paid the UFC, it's a bigger deal for Reebok. Like they're attaching their shitty brand to this awesome new sport. So they're getting the most benefit out of it, out of everybody involved.
Yeah, you know? Reebok wins, the fighters don't.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? Maybe they're just. I'm sure he's selling it because it's like it's a 5-year deal or whatever. He's like, okay, if we do well with this deal, then we could get a fucking actual good brand, like Nike or some shit. That's not going to be fucking janky Reebok.
Who knows, man?
Yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, it doesn't really affect. It's interesting to hear the behind the scenes stuff that's going on. But it's like, I don't see it. I want to see what the fucking uniforms are. If they fucking fail.
I want to see what the shirts. Yeah. I want to see what this, like, if it looks like shit.
Yeah, if it's
just going to be a nonstop ridicule.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, well, we told them they could design their own. It's like, yeah, but everything looks like shit. Yeah. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And
no one buys your shit, then it's no good.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, man. And isn't it next, July, right? Next month? Is that next month? That they're doing it July
next month.
Fucking UFC
the Aldo card is the first card.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that Reebok threw in some for that world tour then to promote the first card that they'll be officially.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure. I mean, it's all fucking.
That's where a lot
big
of that
business
missing
and money.
$70 million is at.
It's like fucking private jet actually uses a lot of fuel. Didn't know that. Sorry. Yeah, it's I don't know, bro. It is what it is. Still a good sport though. I'm not hating on the sport yet. That the new chick is fighting too. She's after, so it's Velasquez for Doom. Then it's the chick. I don't know, and versus Penne. That's at the O2 Arena. Is that
in London?
No, Berlin, Germany. O2 World. Huh. And then it's then it's a fucking Brazil card, and then it's Aldo. Jesus, June, 4 in June. God damn it.
Yeah,
5 in July.
Shit.
Yeah. There's the Aldo McGregor is the 11th, and then the 12th is it's an Ultimate Fighter finale.
Wow.
Which is still a full card.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of that season yet. I think they just started adding episodes to Fight Pass, but I haven't heard shit about it either. Other than it's like the lowest
people are
rated.
Done with that show.
It's like nobody gives it. Only like Uber fans would give a shit about the gyms. Like an average watcher is like, what? They're not teams, right? This is an individual sport. So like, I don't know who the Black Zillions are or American Top Team. Are they part of the UFC? Are these different organizations? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of stupid people.
Too, like Ultimate Fighter winners really don't have that great a track record recently.
What do you mean recently? I mean, I guess I don't really even know.
Kelvin Gastelum's probably done the best recently
Well,
he kept missing weight.
I guess the female one, she lost to her last thing. Gastelum. But there's still a lot of good people that come out of that show, whether they win it or not.
They're still all early, man.
Yeah. No, even still like Caceres, there's still, well, I mean, I guess that's still a few years old. I don't know, man. There's so many fucking fighters, so they might be in there. You just don't like. I'll watch a fucking undercard. Was
pretty good.
Yeah, there's people that's not nearly as many. Not nearly as many. No, it's not like the first season where those people all had long careers, pretty much. You know, it's not like that. But there's so many. That just makes the competition in the show mean more. Versus before, it's like, well, win or lose, maybe I don't get the contract, but I'll still. I mean, most of them still get to fight.
I'll get to fight on the finale.
And if they get a good performance, then maybe they'll stick around. But I don't know. I've been watching. I watched the EBI Eddie Bravo Invitational. Fucking jiu-jitsu, when it's just jiu-jitsu, is ridiculously fast and really entertaining. Surprisingly,
it's like wrestling, except you can choke people and.
But they're like, it's way more movement than any wrestling anything. It's just like it's ridiculous how fast it's. I don't know it's so fast. You know, in MMA, it's really like, oh, you can see what they're doing. As somebody that's never done jiu-jitsu, you kind of know the moves that they're doing in the octagon. You've seen them 100 times, whatever. This shit is just like they're moving so fast, transitioning to shit. Like, you don't know what the fuck's going on. It's fun as fuck to watch, though. I watched the EBI 3. They're all on YouTube for anybody. Eddie Bravo's personal YouTube page. EBI 3, and then I kind of had the second one on in the background, but it's like the commentating is a little lacking. It's kind of slow and just like, but you can kind of, I just have it on. Like, I'll listen to a podcast and just have it on and watch it. Entertaining as fuck, man. Entertaining as fuck. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll check out Metamoris or something. But yeah, it's on YouTube. Totally free. And they're like, 2, 3 and they're tournaments. So you'll see people go to the end and shit. But yeah, good shit. Let's wrap this shit up, bro. Yeah. Unless there's something else you want to talk about.
I gotta get up in like fucking 7 hours.
It's late. Let's see here. What are we doing? Go follow Keith on Twitter at KeithSpurlock1. I'm at Ray Taylor. You can go to InspiredDisorderCollective.com. You can check out all the other shows that are part of the collective. We were talking about that earlier. One of which show, I don't know if that's correct English, but is hosted by our good friend Needles, the Needles M on Twitter, Wilmore. Go subscribe to his podcast. All links are InspiredDisorderCollective.com. He's on iTunes and Stitcher. And yeah. So go check that out. And
check him out on Kill Tony 101.
That's right. Go check him out on Kill Tony 101. And check him out. He does stand up, So
Cincinnati area? You're in Ohio?
He's moving to LA eventually. That's the thing. When I think he's moving around the same time that Cassius is moving to LA, because they both have plans to move to LA. And I think it's in a few years. That should be the next. Like, we should all just go to LA, do the Denver thing, and then we'll all migrate to LA, and then hopefully, like, maybe I'll be making money and actually can afford LA. Although there's some cheap fucking places in LA. Who knows? But
we can all just be crack whores too.
We can just find a flop house and just do it up that way. All right. So anyway, just do those things, people. Subscribe to the show. Tell your friends about the show. Because why not? If you like the show, maybe your friends will dig it. Unless you're embarrassed that you like the show, in which case I don't blame you. Because I don't know. You fucking asshole. Just tell your friends.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Inspired Disorder podcast. Embedded signals within this podcast have reprogrammed your natural thinking patterns. Side effects may include lack of inhibitions, erectile dysfunction, anal leakage, transcendental communication with beings from 4 of the 7 primary dimensions. In the event of a tear in space-time, please keep your hands down and feet together. Any loss of life or limbs due to interdimensional travel is not the responsibility of this podcast.